So we're talking about one Russian phenom who's dominated over the last 20 years. Now maybe we talk about another Russian phenom.
Let's do it.
There's going to be a few of them coming through, but one of them was greeted at Pearson International Airport in Toronto. Is it Ivan or Ivan Demidov?
I think it's Ivan. I think
Ivan.
Ivan. Yeah.
Ivan Demidov. He was I wouldn't say mobbed because I've seen larger mobs for players.
Yeah.
Um, he was greeted at Pearson Airport by Habs fans. Would it have been on Wednesday? When did that video come out? Wednesday, Thursday, this past week, we'll say. I
Yeah, and
forget what.
he was seen practicing. He's made it. He's at Scotiabank Arena. He's been practicing on the ice now. I don't think he's supposed to play tonight, which would have been awesome. 10 out of 10, awesome.
Well,
Um,
yeah. I mean, it would have been awesome, but I'm there, so maybe not.
yeah,
I will
yeah.
be in
There you go.
attendance. Hopefully not.
I'll take David Lee over Ivan Demidov for tonight.
Oh
I
yeah.
think I'll make that for tonight. Let's do it. Yeah.
Ugh.
But yeah, like listen, dude. I Habs fans are we're already like uber confident slash just enjoying this year. Like this is they are still in the honeymoon phase with their team, and I think after this year they would have moved out of it.
Hmm.
But to have this like late season surge, and they've quite literally been, I think, a top five team in the NHL since Four Nations, which yeah,
I
it's
think so
crazy. I
too.
think they have as many points as the Leafs over that this stretch.
I think
Um,
of all the teams that I forget now if it's like in the top 10 or like top 7, it's like three or four of them are teams from the Atlantic for like with like the best records since the Four Nations break, like including the Leafs as well. It's like the Leafs, the
the other
Sens,
team is
the Habs.
yeah, it's Tampa and Ottawa, so I've got it here.
Oh,
So
okay, okay.
it's quite literally the and we because we talked about this, I think it was last episode, the Central or maybe two episodes ago. It's the Central and the Atlantic basically
Yeah.
dominate the top tens. It's Blues at one, Golden Knights at two, Stars three, Montreal four, Leafs five. This is by point percentage. Abs six, Kings seven, Jets eight, Lightning nine, Sens at 10. So you got two
Wow.
Pacific teams in there. No Metro teams actually. Yeah, no Metro teams in the top 10. So I
Wow.
don't know. Take that
It's
for what you
crazy.
will. But yeah, Ivan Demidov. Listen, I said this before we started recording. We're going to talk about a bunch of prospects here, and I watched highlight packs on each of them before starting here. And I'm not about to proclaim that I'm an expert on these guys now. I'm definitely not, and especially because everybody says you watch a highlight pack. It's just the offense. Like that's all I'm looking at. I'm not about to tell you how good Ivan Demidov's 200-foot game is because I haven't seen it. Not exactly easy to
Apparently,
find.
apparently it's not the best. It's better, but it's not the best.
Okay,
That's for what I've
I
heard.
you can say that about a lot of like super young guys. I'm only gonna judge on the offense. I'm only gonna judge on what I got a chance to look at.
Hmm.
I've got some player comps just based on what I watched, and I know that those are like flashy. They don't always they don't usually at all really relate to anything, but yeah, brother looks really damn good. Like really, really freaking good. Like if I had to pick a player where I'm like, okay, I see this guy in him, there is the Nikita Kucherov deception. Like very, very deceptive. Like you cannot tell if he's about to make a pass, a shot. Just his stick handling is insane. I'd say the stick handling actually because he's not small. If I had to guess, he's probably six flat.
He's mid-size.
Um,
I think they
he,
list him at 6'1".
I'll check, but it's Bedard level stick handling. The shot on Bedard is a bit whippier and like a little bit more involved. Like Demdov's a little bit more straightforward of a shot. But he's that good. He is
Hmm.
that good. So I looked at basically the latest that we had from a lot of the like the outlets put out the top players or like top NHL affiliated prospects or the under 23 ones, right? So I took a look at those. Craig Button's top 50. He was number one on NHL affiliated prospects. Scott Wheeler's top 100 drafted NHL prospect rankings. He was number one on that, and their most recent versions of each of these. And then in Scott Wheeler's also like the top NHL players and prospects under 23. Or sorry, this is Corey Pronman's who's got this under 23 list, not Scott Wheeler. he is 16th there, and that was I think from February. If you asked me if Corey Polman was writing this today, I think
Top
he'd be
five.
a lot higher than 16. So I wish as the Toronto guys here that we could come on and say Habs fans are overblowing it. They're not.
I'll let
He's
them
really
have
damn
it.
good.
We'll let
He's
them
he's
have it.
really damn good.
I mean,
Yeah.
listen. We saw all the hype for Lane Hudson, and man, defensively,
Eating some of our words.
yeah, he might not be there defensively just yet, but man, offensively, he is a dynamo. Listen,
I,
I
I
don't,
will still say it's funny how I read an article recently. I don't remember who it was, if it was Arpan Basu or I don't remember who it was, but like this is an article from like I think a week ago, and they still mention the head fakes and the head bobs that we talked about in the first month. They're like, there's no more, there's not a lot less of these. They'll never let that go. So I'm glad that that got to maybe not Lane's head, but the Montreal fan base.
somebody's
They'll never forget when we talked about the head fakes.
the head fakes per 60 were off the charts in October. Oh man,
Clip this for when the Leafs lose to the
Yeah,
Habs in the
yeah,
first
I
round on a
know.
Lane Hudson head fake goal, and
Uh,
the pod's done after that. But
God. I mean, they
yeah,
already did it
listen,
once,
yeah,
guys.
exactly. I don't have much more to add because, like I said, I could not find much I didn't like in those highlights. We're gonna see when he plays. It sounds like maybe Monday.
Yeah.
Um, he's gonna be gross, and I have a feeling it's gonna be basically right away. Like
So
you remember, like yeah,
yeah, I
go
know, I
ahead.
know. Keep going. No, I was just gonna add some stuff that I also got on him as
The only
well.
thing I wanted to bring up is I remember from the 2021 series that we tried to hide in the back darkest corner of our head.
Yeah, it's
Um,
out of my mind right now.
yeah, yeah. So if you really go back there, and it's tough. You'll remember a very young Cole Caulfield was very good against the Toronto Maple Leafs that year,
Hmm.
despite all odds that Dom Ducharme put against him of just being a bad coach.
Just not playing him.
Uh, Cole Caulfield still found a way to be really good.
Yeah,
Ivan Demidov, yeah, he's gonna be good in like the next week.
a hundred
It's just
percent.
gonna be like that. So,
Yeah.
if
So
you're Chicago, I don't know what to tell you because that's the last thing I'll bring up here. Is my God, they could have had Demidov, and
I mean,
they
Levchinov
just
is okay. Like I don't. I see everybody kind of down on Levchinov. Like, why do we have
it's
to
not that it's all
denigrate?
relative. You're right. Like we don't. You're right. You're right. He's really good.
Yeah,
But
it
like
just
I can
I
look up
get
where
it.
Levchinov is on these lists, and he's
It's
not
not top
number
one.
one. You
Yeah,
cannot
yeah.
be. He's you
But
get
what if
yeah.
he was number two? Like, is that big of a
That would be
deal?
fine, but he's
You know what I
not.
mean? But he's not. I get it. No, I get it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
hate kind of tearing down like this guy's these guys are 19, like tearing down
yeah.
another guy.
I will.
I guess that's kind of just the reality of being a fan. I think
Yeah.
Levchinov is fine, but yeah, 100%.
Yes.
Is for me it's like, is it a glaring obvious miss? Like, okay, maybe if Levchinov isn't
It's
world
a miss for all the
beating,
teams. Like it's not just Chicago. It's a miss for
there's a
everyone who
few teams in
didn't
front
like
of
that
them.
guy, right? Yes.
Anaheim took Beckett
Yeah.
Seneca in front of him. Like,
Speaking of that, I don't know if you read. They are actually. I think this was. I don't know if this was on the pod for 32 Thoughts or in his written blog. But Elliot Friedman revealed this week that the Montreal Canadiens were in talks with the Anaheim Ducks to acquire Trevor Zegras at
ooh,
last year's draft, and it was dependent on what happens with Ivan Demidov. As soon as they caught wind that Anaheim was going with Beckett Seneca, they nixed the trade, and it was supposed to be the pick they used on Michael Hage, which I think was 16,
mhm.
and a young defenseman. People suspected Logan Mailloux. So let's say 18 and Logan Mailloux for Trevor Zegras was the deal. But because Demidov fell to them, they felt that having Zegras was going to be redundant.
Redundant.
Apparently, Ken
That's
Hughes is
fair.
not about redundancies. So yeah, so that's something that just came to light. So and
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure it was it Trevor Zegras or was it Pierre-Luc Dubois that was on a boat in Montreal with Caulfield like right before the draft? Do you remember this? I think
I don't.
we know that Zegras and Caulfield are really good friends. So I do remember seeing one of them because like the talk was, you know what, this actually might have been when Dubois was traded to LA. Maybe that's what I'm getting
Maybe it
confused
was
with because
PLD.
everyone thought everyone
He
thought
was
that
going to
he
go
was
to
going to go to
Montreal.
Montreal.
Well,
Yeah.
because that was
Either
that
way,
was the
Zegras and
thought.
Caulfield, very
That
good
was the
friends.
thought, right? For almost a year, I
Yeah.
just kept hearing it was going to be PLD to Montreal, and that also kind of like hampered. Oh well, I guess it would have
Montreal,
been
I think,
even
just wasn't interested. Like they were just like, they were interested if he was good,
yeah, which he wasn't.
and they were just yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
sure. Yeah, no. So
anyways, you
you
had some
mentioned
stats and
the
stuff. Yeah.
Kucherov comp. One
Hmm.
big thing is like so on his playmaking senses. For a 19-year-old, he's got like very very nifty one touch passes. Forehand
I
and
definitely
backhand.
saw that.
There
Yep.
was one that was like I guess it was on power play where he gets the puck and like within a split second it's off his stick and it's to a man wide open in front. So my question is, I know okay like listen like Kucherov is already doing that type of stuff, but like would maybe that's going to take a little bit more time with like adjusting to the smaller ice. Like how long did it take for Kucherov to be Kucherov and like some of those other
A lot
Russians?
longer. It took until that year. Remember the triplet line with
Yeah,
Tyler Johnson and Andre Palat and him. It was 2015. They went up against the Red Wings in the first round. I think that was the year that Stammer had the blood
the
clot
blood
stuff,
clots. Yeah,
and so he wasn't. This is when I first was like, oh my god, like Kucherov might be the best player on this team. Was that series? So they had no Stammer, and they had to rely heavily on Kuch in that series. And even that year, I think he had like 60 something points, right? And now you look at him, he's on pace
over
for
100
he's almost
points.
at
Yeah,
120, right? Like,
yeah,
yeah, and this is 2 years in a row.
yeah. So that's my
So
thought. It's just like with like
I think he's
making
more
that.
developed than Kucherov at a younger age,
Okay,
is what
fair.
I'd say. I'd
It's
say
just
if you're
like
comparing 19-year-old Kucherov to Demidov, Demidov's ahead of track right now, but like, I'm not saying that means that Demidov's ceiling is higher than Kucherov. Kucherov's
yeah,
ceiling is he's been a top 5 player in the league for the past 5 years. So yeah,
yeah. I know.
what I'm
It's something to think to get excited about 100%. And
yeah.
also yeah. So I got this from Jason Bukala, and he says yeah. So his defensive side does still need some work, but it's mightily improved in his D+1 year. It's still a bit unpolished, but should he jump into the lineup, he shouldn't be a liability. Like he's got the senses down at least. Like there was a play with him as the winger. He's like he makes good reads, like getting in front of like shot blocking lanes, like just putting his stick out in front. Like he wasn't doing that before. Sometimes he got kind of caught out of position. But he shouldn't be a liability for the Habs. So now I got the thought, where is he going to slot in that Montreal lineup? So right now, obviously, you have your top line of Slavkovsky, Suzuki, and Cole Caulfield. Does he jump on to the second line with like a Brendan Gallagher, Christian Dvorak, and they bump Josh Anderson down? Or does he play on a line with like Patrick Laine, Alex Newhook? Does he drop down to the fourth line? Like where do you see him fitting in?
I was just looking right now to see if they've got anybody really out of significance, and it's Emil Heineman, who I actually don't remember. I think that was the crash. He was in a something. Yeah, I think he was in like a car crash
A
or
car
whatever
crash.
that came
I
up with,
think you're
right?
right.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
So I'm looking here. It's honestly, dude, this guy has to play in the top six. You tell me this guy's not leapfrogging Oliver
Josh Anderson.
Kapanen, right? Yeah,
Oh,
Josh Anderson, like.
Oliver
Yeah, so
Kapanen's
I'm looking
there.
on
Yeah.
Daily Faceoff here. He's on there. Oliver Kapanen's on their second line right now. He's got 2 assists on the season. I don't know how many games played that's in. So, um, I don't know if you'd want Demidov in line. Maybe you would want him on the same line. He has to be in the top six, but maybe you're changing whatever the machination is to try and give him some more defensive
Support.
support, right? He's a left shooter who plays right wing, which is exactly what Patrick Laine does. So maybe that isn't the fit there. Um, this is the one thing I'd say. Montreal's been doing a great job of just getting a bunch of super good young, high pedigree guys, but Caulfield, Patrick Laine, and Demidov kind of all occupy similar. Like we talked about Ken Hughes not liking redundancies. I'm seeing a lot of redundancy there, so I don't know if you can put together a line that you're like, here's your playmaker, here's your sniper, here's your two-way center. Like I don't really think they can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Mm,
do. Yeah, I do. I'm struggling to find like what the perfect fit is, but the thing is, like he'll figure it out honestly with whoever he plays with.
yeah, I think that's gonna have to kind of be what happens. I could see him maybe playing alongside like an Alex Newhook, maybe. Is he?
Yeah, I mean, by this is the thing is Montreal is still. This feels like a conversation that we've been talking about since like I don't know 2016. Like get another center.
They need a center, yeah,
Um, yeah,
or at least like
unfortunately, not
a
Alex Newhook has not been 2C
like
level
I.
player.
Well, it turns out that Nick Suzuki looks to be like a proper
Oh, it's been
1C for them.
fantastic. Yeah,
So I think you
yeah,
got that sort because that was the big thing was like, could Nick Suzuki ever make that jump to being a 1C? I remember those questions even when he was drafted or when
yeah.
they
I always
acquired
talk
him,
about like
right?
for me, it's like there's so many players that can fit on a first line that you wouldn't necessarily say are first line players
Yeah.
because you have to couch it with like Nick Suzuki can like this is what the conversation was, and I think it's changed. It's like Nick Suzuki can be a 1C if he's the third best player on his line, like
Yeah.
that
Okay.
type of deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd say
Yeah.
right now
He
he's the
probably
best player on
is.
his line.
Probably. Yeah.
I yeah, and
I
Koltov
would
it's two,
say
Slavkovsky three,
I
just
would
on that
even
line right
I
now.
would even argue it's like 1A 1B for Cole, but like
Sure, sure.
Nick's been fantastic, but
Yeah,
yeah, no,
like, but you now
100%.
feel so comfortable saying, like, if Nick Suzuki is the second or the first best player on your first line, there's still a way that that works,
Yeah,
right? So
100%.
yeah, yeah.
Last
Listen, yep.
sorry.
Go
Yeah, no,
ahead.
I was going to say last thing about Demidov, like where all the hype's coming from. I mean, most points by a teenage player in the KHL for a single season with 49 points in 65 games, which is ridiculous for KHL numbers like considering
Yep.
they play in like the league's not as high scoring, like the players don't get as many points. Do you know some of the players in the top 10 of that stat include Kirill Kaprizov, Matvey Michkov, Evgeny Kuznetsov, Pavel Buchnevich, all of them in the top 10 of that stat. So, I mean, listen, if he's beating out guys like that, there's certainly a talent in there, I would say.
Yeah, the one thing I'm trying to find is it's worth mentioning, not to take away too much, but I think Kaprizov and who was the other player that's in that top three there for points? I think they played less games. Like they hit their marks in slightly less games. I think the point per games is still like pretty comparable, so it's not like he really blew the record out of the water. At the same time,
What
definitely
would have
don't have
been
this on
what
me.
would have been Michkov? That was number two because
Yes,
he broke
okay.
that
So
record
I think
last
I
year.
think both of those players did it in less games. However, the other thing that matters too with the Russian guys, which yeah, I don't have it on hand, but like time on ice per game because they get like yo-yoed around
Yeah,
ridiculously.
he was
So,
averaging about 14, is what they were saying. And sometimes
which
it
is
was
like
like
dude's gonna average. I would not be surprised if in a
20.
playoff game he's yeah, I think on average in the playoffs he might be at like 16, 17,
Yeah,
no problem. So, yeah, that there is that.